Think you know everything about the Trump family's stance on environmental issues? This video might make you think again. We're about to show you footage of Barron Trump not just talking to environmental activists, but actually joining their protest in Central Park. Over the next few minutes, we'll challenge your assumptions about political labels and environmental action. You'll see how a silent protest turned into an impromptu collaboration and how one afternoon in the park is sparking new dialogues about sustainability. Prepare to have your preconceptions tested as we explore this unexpected encounter. On a sunny afternoon in Central Park, Barron Trump strolled casually with friends, enjoying the vibrant atmosphere. Little did he know that his day was about to take an unexpected turn. As they wandered through the park, a group of silent protesters caught Barron's attention. The protesters stood quietly, holding simple banners with environmental messages. But what truly set them apart was their approach. Instead of just standing still, they were actively cleaning the park. Armed with trash bags and grabbers, they collected litter as they moved through the area, their actions speaking louder than words. As Barron's gaze swept over the group, he noticed a few familiar faces. Among them was a young woman he recognized as a vocal environmental activist. Her eyes met his, and Barron couldn't help but sense the implied criticism in her look. It was a silent reminder of his family's controversial stance on environmental policies. The tension in the air was palpable. Barron felt the weight of expectations and assumptions pressing down on him. He knew that many people would expect him to simply walk by, to ignore the protesters and their message. But something about their silent dedication struck a chord within him. As he watched the activists pick up trash and tend to the park, Barron found himself considering the effectiveness of their approach. There was a power in their silence, a dignity in their actions that seemed to resonate more deeply than shouted slogans or angry confrontations. Barron stood at a crossroads. He could continue on his way, maintaining the expected distance between himself and the protesters, or he could do something unexpected, something that might bridge the gap between these two seemingly opposite worlds. In that moment, Barron made a decision that would soon ripple far beyond Central Park. Defying expectations and perhaps his own hesitations, he began to walk towards the group of activists. His friends watched in surprise as he approached the silent protesters, ready to engage in a conversation that no one saw coming. As Barron drew closer to the group, the air buzzed with anticipation. What would he say? How would the protesters react? The stage was set for an encounter that would challenge assumptions on both sides and potentially open up a new dialogue on environmental issues. What happens when a Trump steps into the lion's den of environmental activism? As Barron approached the protesters, he was about to shatter expectations and prove that sometimes the most powerful conversations start in silence. The activists froze, their hands still gripping trash bags and banners. Barron's presence created an invisible barrier of tension, thick with unspoken assumptions. He took a deep breath and broke the ice with a simple question about their cleanup efforts. The young woman he'd recognized earlier responded cautiously, her words measured but not hostile. As they began to talk, the initial skepticism slowly gave way to genuine dialogue. Barron listened intently as the activists shared their concerns about rising sea levels and extreme weather patterns. He found himself nodding in agreement when they discussed the importance of preserving natural habitats. The conversation flowed from climate change impacts to renewable energy solutions, with both sides contributing knowledge and perspectives. Surprisingly, common ground emerged. Barron expressed his appreciation for national parks, a sentiment the activists heartily echoed. They found shared enthusiasm for technological innovations in sustainable energy. These moments of connection, however small, began to chip away at the preconceived notions on both sides. The power of this face-to-face interaction became evident. Research has shown that such direct dialogues can significantly change perceptions, especially in politically charged discussions. A study in political communication found that individuals engaging in direct dialogue with someone holding opposing views were 30% more likely to express understanding and empathy towards that viewpoint. As the conversation progressed, Barron felt a shift within himself. The activist's passion and dedication were undeniable, and he found himself wanting to contribute more than just words. He glanced at the trash bags they held, then back at the park around them. With a mix of nervousness and determination, Barron asked if he could join their cleanup efforts. The activists exchanged surprised looks, then slowly nodded. As Barron reached for a spare trash bag, the atmosphere transformed. The barrier of tension dissolved, replaced by a shared sense of purpose. This unexpected collaboration was about to take their dialogue from words to action, challenging perceptions and opening new possibilities for understanding across political divides. In the world of environmental activism, actions speak louder than words. But what if a single action could bridge seemingly insurmountable divides? As Barron Trump joined the cleanup effort, he was about to learn firsthand the transformative power of shared purpose. The moment Barron grasped the trash bag, a ripple of surprise passed through the group. Some activists exchanged skeptical glances, while others nodded in cautious approval. Onlookers in the park stopped to stare, phones at the ready to capture this unexpected scene. Barron felt the weight of their gazes but focused on the task at hand. As he bent to pick up his first piece of litter, Barron wrestled with conflicting emotions. He thought of his family's stance on environmental policies and wondered how they might react to his participation. Yet, as he worked alongside the activists, he felt a growing sense of purpose. The simple act of cleaning the park connected him to the environment in a way he hadn't experienced before. Barron's dedication became evident as the afternoon wore on. He moved methodically through the park, filling bag after bag with discarded bottles, wrappers, and other debris. The activists noticed his commitment, and the initial wariness began to fade. They worked together, sharing observations about the types of litter they found and discussing the impact of single-use plastics on the environment. Research has shown that when high-profile individuals engage in grassroots movements, it can significantly amplify the cause. Barron's presence was already drawing attention, and as word spread, more parkgoers joined the cleanup effort. The group swelled, united in a common goal despite their diverse backgrounds. As the sun began to dip lower in the sky, Barron felt compelled to address the group. He cleared his throat, drawing their attention. The park fell quiet as he began to speak, his words capturing the spirit of the day. He emphasized the power of collective action and the importance of finding common ground in the face of global challenges. Today, we've shown that when we put aside our differences and work together, we can make a tangible difference, Barron said, gesturing to the now cleaner park around them. This is just the beginning. Imagine what we could achieve if we approached all our environmental challenges with this same spirit of unity and dedication. As Barron finished speaking, a spontaneous applause broke out. The atmosphere was charged with a sense of possibility. Unbeknownst to the group, several onlookers had been recording Barron's speech. Even as the cleanup wound down, the first social media posts about the event were beginning to circulate, setting the stage for a much larger conversation about environmental action and unexpected alliances. While Barron and the activists celebrated their successful cleanup, they were oblivious to the digital wildfire spreading beyond the park's boundaries. Could a simple act of picking up trash reshape the environmental conversation, or would it become just another casualty of online polarization? Within minutes of Barron's speech, social media platforms lit up with activity. Eyewitness accounts, photos, and video clips of the young Trump joining the environmental protest began circulating rapidly. The initial reactions were a mix of surprise, support, and skepticism. Many social media users praised Barron's willingness to engage with the activists and participate in the cleanup. Comments like, "This is what bipartisanship looks like," and "Maybe there's hope for the next generation after all," flooded Twitter and Instagram. Environmental groups seized the moment, sharing the story as an example of how anyone can take action for the planet. However, not all reactions were positive. Critics questioned Barron's motives, suggesting it was a publicity stunt or an attempt to distance himself from his family's environmental policies. Hashtags like Chow Charge greenwashing and Baisha too little too late began trending alongside more supportive ones. As the hours passed, the online debate intensified. Environmental experts weighed in, discussing the potential impact of high-profile individuals engaging in grassroots activism. Political commentators speculated on how this might affect the Trump family's image and future campaigns. The viral nature of the event demonstrated the power of social media in shaping public perception of environmental issues. Research has shown that online engagement can translate into real-world action, with viral campaigns often leading to increased participation in local environmental initiatives. As the debate raged on, it became clear that Barron's actions had struck a nerve. Supporters saw it as a bridge-building moment, while critics viewed it as too small a gesture in the face of larger environmental challenges. The polarized reactions mirrored the broader divisions in society regarding climate change and environmental policy. By evening, the story had made its way to major news outlets, further amplifying the conversation. Speculation grew about how Barron would respond to the viral moment. Would he build on this unexpected alliance, or would he retreat in the face of criticism? As the online world buzzed with activity, Barron found himself at a crossroads. The viral moment presented both an opportunity and a challenge. How he chose to respond would not only shape public perception, but potentially influence the environmental conversation on a broader scale. Barron Trump's unexpected involvement in the Central Park cleanup sparked a nationwide conversation. Seizing the momentum, he announced plans for a large-scale tree planting event in the park. The initiative drew participants from across the political spectrum, united by a common goal of environmental stewardship. On the day of the event, thousands gathered to plant saplings. Environmental activists worked alongside skeptics, finding common ground in the simple act of digging and planting. As the trees took root, so did new connections between diverse groups. The event's impact extended beyond the park's borders. Studies show that a single tree can absorb about 48 pounds of carbon dioxide annually. With thousands of new trees planted, the collective impact on air quality and carbon sequestration was significant. Barron's journey from bystander to catalyst demonstrated the power of individual action. By stepping out of his comfort zone, he created a ripple effect that brought people together and fostered meaningful dialogue on environmental issues. The trees planted that day stood as living symbols of the potential for change when people unite around a shared purpose.